What up, Cowboys Nation? Or like my boy Foots would do, yo, or hey. It's your boy John G, back with another one. The title of this video is "The Problem with Dak Prescott Is." Now, before I get into it, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell each time I come out with content. All right, so this is kind of a part 2 to the video of is Scott Linehan, is he sabotaging Dak? And the reason that I wanted to do this is because there was a lot of good conversation in the comments, so I wanted to kind of continue it with something different, a different analogy per se for the people that really truly hate Dak Prescott, love Dak Prescott, or you're like me and you're just, you know, in the middle, you know, you're intermediate, you know. And so the analogy that I came up with is for basketball fans or those that follow basketball, you probably understand this team, or you probably remember this team, the 2008 NBA champion Boston Celtics. And I remember where they made a couple of trades where they brought in KG in the preseason. In the offseason, they brought in KG and they brought in Ray Allen to join Paul Pierce in the Celtics. And you know, the roster was absolutely crazy. I don't think in NBA history we had seen anything like that. It was the start of the super teams, all of that stuff. But I say all that to say this, right? Where you have 3 superstars in their prime, you had to have somebody, you know, wrangle them in. And the guy that they had running the show was Rajon Rondo, a kid out of Kentucky that nobody really thought of as a superstar at all. But he was an unorthodox point guard, somebody that couldn't shoot, still can't shoot to this day. And so his job was to bring everything together. His job wasn't to score a whole bunch of points. His job wasn't to hit a whole bunch of jump shots. His job was to keep the ship afloat. He was a scrappy guy that could play defense and all of that stuff. But I say all that to say this, right? Dak Prescott is our Rajon Rondo. He's not going to shoot jump shots. That's not what he is. He's not going to be an elite point guard. He's a guy that can handle a really good roster, which what we have right now. Zeke is probably our KG. I'm not sure who our Paul Pierce is, but I would say that our Amari Cooper is our Ray Allen. You know what I mean? Paul Pierce is probably some collective other people. But Dak Prescott is our Rajon Rondo. And guess what? No matter what, you can think of guys like Chris Paul. You can think about all these elite point guards out there that can score the basket. They just make the position look so much better. But Rajon Rondo made it look like, you know, unwatchable at times. But he was what was necessary to that formula of that team. They didn't need somebody that was a ball hog. They didn't need somebody that could shoot a whole bunch. They needed somebody to just keep the ship afloat. I'm not going to say that he was a bus driver because he had the ball in his hands at clutch situations. Rondo did, absolutely. Rondo made some big plays. That's what Dak Prescott is for us. Now imagine if Doc Rivers told Rondo, we need you to score 20 points a game. We need you to become a 3-point shooter out of nowhere. This is what we need from you, with having KG, Paul Pierce, and all those guys on there. And I'm sorry for guys that don't follow basketball, but this analogy is going to make a lot of sense, I promise. Just imagine Doc Rivers asking Rajon Rondo to play against his strengths. His strengths are handling the ball, hustling, playing defense, running the offense, and, you know, passing the ball and getting guys in open spots to make shots. That's what his strength is. But imagine Doc telling him he had to become a scorer all of a sudden. Like, we need you to close games out. We need you to, you know, Well, that's what we're asking Dak Prescott to do. That's what Scott Linehan and Jason Garrett, because I'm going to say Jason Garrett is allowing it to happen, so I will say Jason Garrett. But that's what they're making Dak Prescott do when we throw the ball so much, and when we, straight drop back, when we get to the goal line, we don't go under center. We're asking Dak Prescott to become a Rajon Rondo that shoots three-pointers. And, that's why you guys don't like him, because we're asking somebody that is not a traditional quarterback, like a Breeze, like a Rodgers. Well, Rodgers runs around too, but like a Tom Brady. We're mad at him because he's not one of those guys. But we have the roster to win. We have the Stallions. We're mad at him because the coaches are asking him to do something totally different than what his skill set is. And we're still winning games, though. So, I got to kind of applaud him on the back, because it's not easy. And, you guys can say this quarterback, that quarterback. I had somebody tell me that they can find 23 other quarterbacks that will be better in this situation. Well, guess what? We've had those guys that fit into the system. We've had, a Matt Castle. He fits into what we do. Brandon Weeden, he knows the system. He's going to be great. Well, we didn't win games with those guys. And, yes, you can point out all these other quarterbacks. Well, those other quarterbacks are on other teams, and they're on other rosters. And right now what we have is a Dak Prescott. Now, I hate, I'm not going to say I hate, but I know people don't want to hear who would you rather have. But right now, as I said in my previous video, let's live in the moment. But also realize that the guy's not elite. I've said it. I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep beating the drum. And if you've actually been with me to watch me, or if you've ever actually been with me to watch a Cowboys game, you would understand that I'm probably more critical to Dak Prescott than your average fan. Only because I want to see him get better, though. Not because I hate him for the sake of hating him, which a lot of you guys do. So, in the comment section, I kind of want you guys to explain why exactly you hate Dak Prescott. Is it because he isn't your traditional quarterback? Is it because he is, he's inaccurate or whatever? Like, let's get to the bottom of it. Or, is there something underlying behind why you hate this guy? Me personally, I'm in the middle of the ground. And I'm at the point where I'm not extending Dak. I don't think you should extend him right now, because maybe your quarterback of the future is on this roster. I've always liked Mike White. But going back to, is Linehan sabotaging Dak? He's not only sabotaged Dak, in my opinion, he sabotaged other quarterbacks. We haven't, Kellen Moore is new, but we haven't developed a quarterback since Tony Romo, and Sean Payton had a lot to do with that. But other than that, like, if you don't think Dak is the quarterback, you're asking these guys to develop somebody else where they haven't developed anybody. Or they haven't developed anybody, So, ask yourself that question. Who do you want to come in here? Because with this current coaching staff, it can't be a young guy. But, make sure you guys, let's keep the conversation going. What do you hate about Dak? Or what I like best is, how can we make things better for Dak or this roster? How can we make things better? That should be the questions that the front office should be asking, and that should be the questions that the coaching staff and, the coaching staff should be asking. Well, all right, guys. Peace out.